Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast. Today, we're lucky enough to sit down with Jenny Alvarez. She's the creator of J. Alvarez Company event planning.
So J. Alvarez Company has planned memorable events from weddings, sweet 16s, baby showers, and corporate events, from the most exquisite to the most simplistic. J. Alvarez Company has earned a reputation as the best choice for anyone looking to create a magical event. So, Jenny Alvarez, her story is super inspiring. She was living down in Florida, working for Comcast in corporate America. She has 3 children. She lost her job and then came back to New England to create her dream business. And her business is all about making other people's visions into a reality when it comes to their perfect weddings and perfect events. It's a next level episode, super inspiring.
As we always say, thoughts become things, and if that's something you don't fully believe, you can literally listen to this episode and you will see how her thoughts in the beginning become her reality in the end. And we hope you enjoy.
Yeah, enjoy.
Bye. Geographically? Geographically. This is cool. So I would say make sure that pretty face is showing.
Yes, true.
They're going to want to see that fucking thing. They're going to want to see that fucking thing, Alan. That fucking face. You good? Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast. We are with Jenny Alvarez today. We heard of Jenny from Joanna, episode number 19. She told us your amazing story, how you ended up here, how you've overcome so many things. So Alan somehow convinced you to sit down and tell us your story. And we are in your beautiful studio right now with all these beautiful dresses that
Thank you.
That's mine right there, the blue one.
Yep.
Yes.
I'm going to try that one on after.
For Kevin's wedding, he's going to be in the blue one.
Yes.
For those of you on YouTube who can see that.
Yes.
And you, as the best man, will wear the pink.
Exactly. I like the strapless.
Oh,
the
yes.
strapless pink.
Yes, yes.
I
He
think
even
is
knows what it's called.
Yeah.
So we want to pick your brain.
Awesome.
I think that introduce yourself, introduce where we are, what this means to you, and then we'll kind of get the journey of how it went from Florida and working for Comcast to being up here, having your own business, and doing your thing.
Awesome. So my name is Jenny Alvarez, and I am a wedding planner. I'm an event planner. The name of my company is J. Alvarez Company, Event Planning and Production. And basically what we are is we're a one-stop shop event planning and production business. We take care of every single little detail for our clients from A to Z, between the venue, the catering, the gowns, the food, flowers. I mean, everything and anything a client would need in order to have a fantastic experience for their special day.
Love it. So you make someone else's dream into a reality.
Actually, yes. I always say bringing dreams to life, and that's literally what I live for. To a lot of people in this industry, it may be just, a planning service or decorating services, whatever they want to call themselves. To me, it's bringing dreams to life because I get to know the story behind the client. Every event has some type of magical story that brings out the meaning of why we're doing this. So once I get to know the client, once I get to know the value of that event to them or, their significant other, then it just kind of inspires me more to really get things happening for them.
So the more you know about their backstory, how they fell in love, what they're about, both individually and together, it helps you gain extra why power to make the event even more amazing.
Yeah, because, it somehow it feels that I'm part of the story as well. So I always say that we're here on earth to make a difference somehow. And to me, that's how I make a difference. It's bringing that client's vision. Families that never thought they could ever afford to have an event, now they can because they're working with me. And I'll tell you more about that later. But, when I deal with families who have gone through an illness and they were told that their daughter was not going to make it to past the age of 10. And here we are celebrating their sweet 16. You know, that's huge. So it's not just a celebration for her daughter, but for mom. You know, it's celebrating life. So it becomes a mission to make that day completely memorable for the family.
I could tell when we first met. What was that? Probably 6 months ago, 5 months ago.
Yeah,
So it was cold.
I think it was.
It was the coldest day ever when we came up here last time, and today it's warm.
Yeah.
But I could tell that this wasn't just a job.
Yeah.
Like this isn't just a way to pay the bills. This is like your thing. Like you found your thing, you locked on your thing. So how did you get from in Florida working for Comcast to here with children as well?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't an easy road, but can you take us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was really a challenging story, but it's crazy because it started here. It started in Lawrence, Massachusetts. I came to live in Lawrence when I was 16 years old with my family. And my first job was at Walgreens on Broadway, you know, right down the street. And across the street from Walgreens, we had Mendes Flowers, who is it's a flower shop that's been around forever. And the owner there, Soa, became like my mentor. I loved the lady since I was a little girl. I used to spend my lunch and breaks across the street just watching her create floral arrangements and talking to her clients and just bringing visions to life, you know? And I used to say to her, Soa, I want to be just like you when I grow up.
Love it.
Yeah. So long
Seed
story
was
short,
planted.
yeah. And she was like, you know what, Jenny, you can do it. You can do it. So long story short, you know, I grew up. I got a real job. I went from Walgreens to Comcast. I was with Comcast for many years. And I had relocated at this time to Florida. In Florida, after being with Comcast for about 15 years, unfortunately, my division closed and they laid everyone off. And at that time, I was actually in the hospital and I had just delivered twin babies.
Wow.
So as my congratulations package, I received a cute little congratulations for your new babies. And then it said, by the way, you know, unfortunately, our division has closed and you no longer have a job. So it was heartbreaking. It was nerve-wracking.
Mixed emotional day, huh?
Oh my God, it was crazy. But again, you know, I really truly believe that we all have a mission here in this world, you know. So my mom said to me, Jenny, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I said, well, Mom, you know, I think it's time. I want to start my own business. I want to follow my dream. And she says, well, I have $500 I could let you borrow.
I remember this. Yes. Go into the story.
My little $500 story.
Yep.
And, you know, a lot of people think that they can't do anything, but it's all about planning and, you know, being cautious, I guess, with your expenses. And I was really, really careful because it was only $500.
Yeah.
So I made my first investment. And
What was it? What was your first investment?
I literally bought the basics. You know, I bought tablecloths, I bought chair covers, you know, the little cute bow that goes in the chair that's called a sash, charger plates. And with that one investment, okay, I didn't have a lot of money. So I didn't know what color to buy to make sure that it was something that will last, that I could reuse over and over.
Yeah.
So I listened to my computer, you know, I listened to my gut, and I went with my favorite color, which was the aqua, the blue, which is in my business logo.
Okay.
And that investment, I did 13 events with. All I ended up doing was literally changing the color of the sash, the bow on the chair, with the same tablecloth, okay? Because every time I posted pictures and every time I met with a new client, they loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I want that. I'm like, okay, sure, I have it.
Yeah. Nice. How did you get these clients? Because you're new, right? So anyone who goes into a new arena struggles with this a bit. It seems like you did a really good job. When you say 13 events with that one investment,
Yes.
take us through that a little bit.
So networking, you know, talking to the right people. It's positioning yourself. So I was intentional. I made it a point to go to venues and speak to the management there and say, hi, you know, my name is is Jenny, and this is what I do.
Yeah.
I would love to work with you. And I would go and spend time at the cake lady's place and just helping her on her busy day. Hey, what are you doing? Let me help give you a hand today. Well, next thing you know, you have customers walking in. So as she's in the back decorating cakes, I'm at the front talking to her customers about what cake they need.
Yeah.
And
their vision.
And their vision.
Yep.
And what else do you need? And did you have a decorator? Do you have a planner? And next thing you know, I was booking services. I was booking clients through my network of vendors.
Yeah.
And I think word of mouth helped me a lot. I'm big on building relationships with my clients. I think that's the number one investment you can do. So my clients are loyal. You know, they don't hesitate to go to their friends and go to their neighbors and
Referrals.
say, "Hey, yes,
Yeah.
you gotta meet Jenny."
Love it.
Yeah.
How much of your business do you think is referrals?
Oh,
If you had to guess.
I would say a good fair. To be fair, a good 60 to 80%.
Nice.
It's a lot. Yeah.
That is a reflection of how you are as a person more than anything else.
For sure.
Thank
Like
you.
we've heard many stories about you kind of like coming to the rescue when other things kind of go astray.
Yes.
And I think that the type of person you are in a lot of situations goes hand in hand with how successful your business is. If you're a scheming, dirty
Yeah.
kind of person, you're more than likely going to fail eventually.
Yeah.
Right.
But so going back to the like kind of saving the day thing, it kind of seems to be like one of your themes, and I think it goes hand in hand because you care so much. But what does that mean to you? And like, so we talk about fitness.
Yep.
There's a lot of fitness coaches out there who say they're fitness coaches.
Yeah.
They say they have your best intentions in hand, and they just give you a cookie cutter diet that they've given 100 other people.
Yeah.
They don't care whether it works or not. Just pay me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there that in your market as well? And how do you handle that kind of thing?
Well, you know, there's a little bit of everything, just like you mentioned in your own market. In this particular market, it's challenging, just like it is for any other profession, right? For me, I'll tell you about me,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
So for me, holding my client's hand throughout the entire process, that's an experience, that's a service, and that's what being an event planner is. That's what being a wedding planner is. To me, it makes no sense that I am going to meet with you once. I'm going to tell you, okay, so this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to decorate the room. I'm going to make it look beautiful. And here's the cake person, and here's the DJ, and here's the caterer. Go give them a call, set up an appointment, and tell them that I sent you. That's not a wedding planner. That's not an event planner. Because I'm sending you off to go deal with the problem. I'm supposed to take that problem from you.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of that in this market, and the way that I look at it, it's all about educating my clients. As a customer, you only know what you know. So if I am a customer and I'm getting married or I'm celebrating my daughter's sweet 16 or quince, I only know that I want that day to be special. I probably know that I have a certain budget. I probably know what colors I want. But I don't know who's the best vendor out there. I don't know, a lot of details. That's really what's going to make your day, make it or break it.
Yeah.
And unless your vendor, your planner that you're working with or the vendors that you're working with are actually spending the time to educate you and making the right choices,
Yeah.
then to me, it's a poor investment, because you can't do anything. Once what's done is done. And once you get to the day of and you've dealt with all the stress, you have no other option but to try to make the best of it. And that's it,
Do you ever find, like, I have a lot of people that reach out, and I really, really love helping people one-on-one, but it can get overwhelming when your inbox starts to fill up.
Yeah.
And your life is also going on at the same time. Like, I have my own problems too that I need to fix. So has anybody ever come to you like last minute and you took care of everything? And has there ever been a time where, do you ever not regret doing it, but is it ever hard to say yes because it could, on the other end, you might not be able to get other stuff done that you need to get done. It's such a fine line.
Yeah, it's a balance.
It's so hard. It's so hard, and I deal with that on a regular basis because other than my event planning business, as you can see, I have my gowns,
Yes.
right? And that's also something that I started to help my clients. So other than that, I also manage a function hall. So having a function hall basically has become a big need in my community. And something that's happened recently a lot, and it's really sad, but I'm glad that I've been able to help, is that people have gone to their vendors to book their location, a venue, local venue nearby. They pay. The vendor said, yes, you're all set. You're taken care of. Their event is in 6 months. And the day before the event, the client went in to drop off, all their things to decorate, and it turns out that the venue was already booked for someone else. So they were double booked. And imagine, it was this particular one was a 50th wedding anniversary. They had families traveling from everywhere.
Invitations were sent.
Everything.
Yeah.
And it's the night before.
My
And it was
goodness.
150 people. So they had no venue at 9 p.m. the night before their parents' 50th wedding anniversary. So luckily, they heard about me. So
Through referrals.
So
She'll save the day.
a friend of them told them, you got to call Jenny, but it's 9 p.m. How am I going to call her? She'll pick up. So they called me. I was here. I actually had a wedding the next day. So I was just on my way out. And as I'm entering the phone call and walking out the door, they're standing outside. So
Wow.
I'm like, hi. So the lady's in tears. Her mom is there. It was 5 or 6 sisters. It was really an emotional story when they shared everything with me.
Yeah.
It broke my heart. I was like, listen, let's go back in. Come on, let's sit down and talk about this.
Wow.
So luckily I was able to help them. I did have another location here in the building that I was able to offer them for their event. But imagine if I didn't.
Yeah.
And although I was able to help them get everything prepared for their event and everything, they had to go home. By the time they left here, it was like 12 midnight. They had to go home and call 150 people to let them know the location has changed. They were here at 7 o'clock in the morning the next morning to get everything set up. I was here with them. I helped them do everything to make sure that they had a fantastic event. At the end, I had a beautiful testimonial. They were so happy.
Oh, for sure. And you'll get referrals from that.
Yeah,
I
already
forever.
have.
So good. Yeah, forever.
Yeah. So it's beautiful. To me, it's beautiful to be able to change the experience around from something so negative to an amazing night.
Well, people are going to have such a strong positive association with you because you were able to create their vision and pull them out of what was clearly a dark moment. I mean, she was crying.
Yeah.
So they're always going to remember that
Yeah.
you went out on a limb for them. And I think that's huge for everyone to hear. When you give to others in their time of need, they're going to remember that and they're going to want to reciprocate.
Right.
And I think some of us are, I heard this quote recently, some of us are so focused on what we're going to get that we're not realizing what we're already getting.
Yes.
And that giving in and of itself, expecting a reward isn't really giving. And I think that's huge. That's such a huge testament to who you are because you have your own life. You have 3 kids. Mm-hmm. You were at 9:00 p.m. Someone showed up at your door in need, and
you stayed until midnight.
Yeah, you stepped
midnight.
You stepped the F up, and made that happen, which is just awesome.
But let me tell you something. When I watched the couple walk down the aisle and share that moment, her parents, having their first dance as, couple
50th anniversary.
50th anniversary. It was so touching. So to me, I didn't care about being here late. I didn't care about having to be here at 7 a.m. to help them. And my whole day shifted, instead of working on everything else that I had on schedule because I had another event.
Yeah.
I focused 100% on them to make sure that it was completely amazing. And it was.
Kevin and I talked on the car ride here about when it's your thing, it's when you do it and the feeling you get afterwards that's just so unbelievably fulfilling. You just described what Kevin and I talked about. After we podcast, we have this immense feeling of gratitude and contribution, and it's nothing like anything else.
It's like a high.
It really is. It's to me, honestly, it's the biggest payment. You
Yeah.
know, when I wake up the next morning after an event where I'm exhausted, you know, we normally leave the hall by 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
time we're done wrapping things up, you know. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm like a 90-year-old lady. I'm dead. I'm
Yeah,
dead.
got hit by a truck
And
last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I look at my phone, and the first thing I see is a message
Yeah.
from my client.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just a lovely message just saying, Jenny, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, thank you for bringing my dreams to life. Thank you for, you know, making my day amazing. That is worth everything.
Yeah. And the feeling you described after seeing them walk in their 50th
Yes.
anniversary.
I cry at every wedding.
that's-
I am a sucker for love.
But there's nothing wrong with
Well,
that.
that's why
Every
though you're in this
time.
Right,
business.
that's why you're in the
like
business.
that's so good.
So like right now I'm getting ready to celebrate my daughter's sweet 16, and it's she says, Mom, it's my sweet 16. I'm like, no, it's not. It's my. You know, because it's the moment. I've been creating this day for so many other families for so many years. And
Yeah.
every time that I run into a mom who says, Jenny, who's going to do the father-daughter dance? Because my husband passed away, or my her father is not present in their life. I said, you are. You know, you're going to dance with your daughter. It's your moment. And I started creating the mother-daughter dance, and I started having them do that. So every time I watch it happen, I'm like, oh my God. And now I can't wait to do it
Now
with
it's
my
your
daughter.
turn.
It's my turn.
Are you planning the event? Are you
Oh, yes.
that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
You got to,
Very
right?
cool.
You got to.
Oh yeah.
So this is going to be a humdinger, right? You just said you literally lost your job
Oh, yeah.
upon having children.
Two children.
Two
at
children.
once. Two
Two.
twins. Yeah.
So I hear a lot of people say, like, I can't because of this, I can't because of that. And circumstances for everybody are different. But how did you end up here after all of that?
Oh my gosh. So that's crazy, right? Because I always say that you are your biggest obstacle. Okay.
I like that.
And it's so true. And I'm so glad I learned that with my mom very little. She used to say to me, you know, you hold yourself back. You are the one who can push yourself back. No one else can do it for you. And having that mentality has really, really helped me. And I've fallen so many times. When I lost the job, right? And it wasn't easy. I started, and clearly, you know, it took some time until I reached success, and I was happy, and things were beautiful, and I was in Florida, you know. But my daughter got sick, and my oldest daughter, my 16-year-old daughter,
Who we just met.
Yep,
Yep.
Litzy. And she had a problem with her feet, and she ended up having to be on a wheelchair in order to finish her school year because of the amount of pain she was having. She needed surgery, but we were about 2 months before school year ended, and the doctors decided, you know what, let's put her in a wheelchair so she can finish the school year and operate her over the summer. As I learned about the procedure and everything that was happening, you know, the things that they were explaining to me didn't add up. You know, I was not happy with what they were planning to do. You
Couple
know,
red flags.
yeah. So, you know, obviously, as a mom, you do what you have to do to research. So I started making phone calls. I called the insurance company, and I said, listen, you know, I need to speak to somebody because this is what's happening. And they're telling me that my daughter needs surgery. And yes, I know she needs surgery, but the outcome of the surgery, they said that she was not going to be able to play sports, that she was not going to be able to dance again, that I needed to get myself a therapist in order to help her get through the process of what was happening. And just to kind of visualize what was going to happen to my daughter's life, I said, I refuse. You know, this is not what's going to happen with my daughter. So through my research, I found that Children's Boston here had the best doctor for the type of procedure that she needed.
Okay.
So the sorry, they connected me to the doctors here. I made an appointment. I packed up all my stuff into a storage facility, and I came home. You know, I just came to Lawrence. I came on a Wednesday. The following Monday, I had my first appointment with the surgeon at the hospital. And within 2 weeks, she had her first surgery. They decided to do one foot at a time. It was a crazy process for all of us, you know, especially for her because she's a rock star, you know. The babies, my twins at that time were 2 years old, okay, and I was going through a divorce. So it was everything happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Everything,
My goodness.
I put my business on hold. I had no choice. I said, you know what? God, you're in charge. Let me figure this out. And once we operated her, a few months into it, physical therapy and all of that, she's doing amazing. In 10 months, she was playing, she was cheerleading, a cheerleader captain at her school. Then she plays softball. Right now, she's playing softball for her school. She goes to Notre Dame. And she dances. I mean, she's an awesome kid.
Killing it.
Yeah, she's killing it. She's killing it. So once she was all taken care of, I said, okay, so let me figure this out.
Yeah.
I need to get me, because I always say that, kudos to stay-home moms. I respect them so much. But I need to, in order for me to be an amazing mother, I also need to feel fulfilled.
Of course.
As an entrepreneur, as a leader, So I needed to get my business back up and running.
Yeah.
For 8 months, we were in an empty apartment. All 3 of my girls and myself with a air mattress. We had nothing.
I remember you telling us this story a little bit. I'm so glad we're touching on this. Please keep going, because we hear, we're seeing you now. Your business is rolling. You've got this beautiful studio. Literally, we are sitting in what was once just a thought.
Yes.
And I want people to get that. Not only was this podcast at one point just a thought,
Yeah.
and now we put in the reps, we worked hard, we challenged ourselves, now we're here, but the studio as well. So you're successful. You're getting referrals, clients, and all that, but I really like pulling back the curtain on how you got here, because 8 months on an air mattress, like that's the grind.
Yep.
That's the thing that people don't see usually. So let's go into that a little bit more. I know you were gonna, but yeah.
Yeah. So no, and then it's true, because what happens is that a lot of people tend to give up. When they run into obstacles, they give up.
Yeah.
They say, you know what, I can't. I'm done. I'm
Or
not
this
doing
isn't
this
for
anymore.
me.
Exactly. Maybe this is a sign. I'm not supposed to be doing this, But obviously, I focused on my girls' health, but looking around, I was like, oh my God, I went from having my home, having a family,
Strong income.
a strong income. I had my
Benefits.
my ex-husband, benefits, my business. I was doing Arabic weddings in Florida, making really good money. So it was from that to an air mattress. Reality hit. Bad.
Identity stuff.
Yes.
Did you have any struggles with identity through that time? Because I think a lot of us tie things outside our control to our identity without meaning to, and you kind of probably had to reevaluate, like, I'm more than what I'm currently demonstrating.
Yes.
I'm more than my current circumstances.
Yes.
And that's the way you started kind of climbing out. I'm super, super impressed.
Thank you.
Like, I know Kevin is too.
Oh, for sure.
Like, my goodness.
For sure.
Yeah.
It was definitely, it hit me from every angle. I would, so I had my oldest recuperating from her surgery. Here, they found a health problem with one of the twins. So the twins, during that 8-month period, one of the twins also had a respiratory problem where she was on oxygen for 4 months. So we were, and I'm trying, I don't want to get emotional, but I'm trying to paint the picture on you, so we were in a completely empty apartment, an air mattress, and I have my daughter who's recuperating from surgery. She had a cast on one of her feet, and then one of the babies was in this oxygen to help her breathe, because she would stop breathing in the middle of the night. So I would find myself holding her in my chest, because she would wake up and take the machine off her face, and I was afraid that she was going to stop breathing. It was crazy. I couldn't believe that that's where my life was. I would look around and I'm like, how did I get here? This was supposed to be something good, because I moved here to take care of my daughter, right? So how am I in this situation?
All the feels. I'm getting them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel like the desperation. Like I know what you're saying. Why didn't you quit? Like what was the thing that was like, I can't stop. I just can't. Everything is saying like, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work.
But I'm going to make it.
And you were
work.
like, well, whatever. I'll figure it out.
Oh, I was not well, whatever. I was an emotional roller coaster. I mean, it took it took a lot for me to stay strong, and my girls are my strength, and watching my daughter go through everything she went through, not having her father in her life, having to start over in 7th grade, she was 12 years old. That's the most difficult stage in any teenager's life,
Oh, yeah.
So she's in a wheelchair 2 months before school ends, start over in a new state. When I left Lawrence, I used to say, I am not coming back to Lawrence, Massachusetts. There was a lot happening back then. And I back then, my mentality was, I refused to allow my kids to grow up here. So when I came back, it hit me in the face. It was like, damn, Jenny, what do you mean? What do you mean this is the life you have right now, So I had to snap out of it. I had no choice. I always believe that you got 2 choices in life. There's only 2 roads. You either give up and you fail, or you succeed. There's only 2 roads. So I refuse to be a failure. I refuse to disappoint my girls. And I wanted them to see that if mommy could do it, so can them.
Yeah, leading by example.
Yeah, whenever they run into their own obstacles later on.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I've met here, after going through my own experience, and now they're dealing with some stuff, I'm like, listen, maybe that's why it was meant to be that I went through things like that, to inspire and help others. Because I've run into other moms that are in even worse situation, abusive relationships, going through all kinds of craziness. I'm like, listen, you can do it too. Get out of it. So I don't know. I guess my girls inspire me.
Yeah.
My daughter will wake up.
You can
in the
tell
middle
just
of the
you light up
night.
just talking about
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Every time
Yeah.
you talk about your daughters, you light
Huge
right up.
smile for those
yeah.
who can't see.
Yeah, exactly.
She would wake up and she's like, she would hold my hand like, Mom, we're gonna be okay. Let's pray about it.
That's what's up.
Let's pray about it. And I went back to basics. I went back to what I knew. I said, okay, so it's enough crying.
Yeah.
Let's just get this together.
Yeah.
So I went back to Mendes Flowers.
Nice.
I went back to see her and I said, hey, guess what? I'm back.
Yeah. Did you start working there?
Huh?
Did you start working there, or you just
No.
started building the network?
I went to her because I wanted her to be my mentor,
Oh,
so
love it.
that I can connect to the right people. The same thing that I did. I realized that I knew what it takes. I just needed to get up and do it.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because how can I be sitting at home crying about my situation and what was happening and expect things to be any different? You know?
If you don't do something.
So I got up and I said, all right, let's do this again. If I did it once, there's no reason why I can't do it again. At 32 years old, starting over, it was kind of hard.
Unbelievable strength.
Yeah.
One of the things we talked about on the way here, and this while you were telling that story, I wanted to bring this up for the listeners and for everyone in this room. We talked about the dream team, how unbelievably blessed we are to have people that support us, believe in us, and like who are there when we're down like that.
Yeah.
You clearly went through a whole lot at once.
Yeah.
Divorce, moving, relocating. Your daughters, 2 of them at the same time, had health issues, and financially that was another. So a lot at once.
Yeah.
So time under tension plus the weight of the load equals strength. So you build unbelievable emotional strength clearly out of that. But I know you didn't do it alone.
Yeah.
We know Joanna. Was she a part of your life back then? Who else was on your team? Because without a team, we're all going to struggle.
Exactly.
And so, yeah.
So I always say that it's all about your circle. It's not it's not how big is your circle, is who is in your circle.
Love that.
So, and I really live by that. I don't care about having, a lot of friends and none of that stuff, but it's people who, like you said, are there to support you, to guide you, to lift you up when you're down. And that is really what helped me get to where I am today. Like I started earlier, so I went back to SOA. She was my first one. I said, okay, well, she's still here and she's made it this far.
Your mentor, the flower. Okay, yep.
Yeah, the flower place.
Yep.
So I said to her, this is what I want to do. This is what I've been doing for the past, six years in Florida. And I said, I want to reestablish my business here, and I would love to work with you. I would love for you to be one of my vendors. She says, of course, honey. So she connected me. She started connecting me to a DJ and a venue and like everybody and anybody that she knew that would be a good platform for what I was building, because I wanted to create that one-stop shop. It doesn't exist here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the only one that has all of the services under one umbrella.
It's a huge competitive advantage.
It really is.
That's awesome.
So that was one circle for my business, right? Then I, for my kids, I said, remember I said I was back then, I used to be afraid of raising my kids in Lawrence. I started looking around. I'm like, man, there's so many incredible things happening in our community. I want to get involved. I want to get my kids involved. And I met a friend who introduced me to Joanna. I said to her, listen, I need to make sure that my daughter doesn't fall through the cracks. I need to make sure that she's involved in positivity and greatness. I had already built her up health-wise. Now I needed to build her up emotionally and academically, and make sure that she got it back and she understood, you know what, that was just a difficult moment, but we're heading somewhere now.
That's not who I am. That's just where I am.
Exactly.
Now it's time to move.
Exactly. Yeah. So everybody that I spoke to about what I was trying to do, you know, they would say, you need to meet Joanna. You need to meet Joanna. I'm like, who is this Joanna chick?
Right?
You know,
Joanna's a big deal.
So, top-notch scholars and Joanna. So I Googled her,
Top-notch scholars. Yep. Yes.
I need to know who this is, right? So I looked up top-notch scholars first, and wow, this is impressive. Then when I look her up, she looks like she's 15. I'm like, there's no way this little girl is doing, as much as they say. I need to meet her. I need to find out really what she's about. And she's amazing. Yeah. The work that she had been doing, before we even started this, all the other greatness that we started with the organization, it was just amazing. So I not only involved my daughter in the program, she became my daughter's mentor, became her best friend. She calls her little sister. But I said to Joanna, listen, Joanna, I don't know anything about the nonprofit world. My experience is all, corporate world, but I want to help. How can I get involved? And one thing led to the other. I was given... I don't know. That was one of those blessings that just happens. Yeah. I was referred to a program at Tufts University for nonprofit leadership, and I was given a full scholarship to go and learn about nonprofit world. And here I am. So now I am her right hand for her organization. She's my right hand for my business. And we're rocking it together.
And you are making Lawrence a better place.
We are.
That was one of your fears of coming back here, raising children here. Now you are making it a better place for people to raise children.
Yep.
So you are the master of that. Like, you are fixing that.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say. So Alan and I did an episode. It was about following your heart versus following advice. And I think Alan will definitely agree here that having mentors is big because they believe in you because they did it. They know it can be done. So did you have, clearly your mentor believed in you, Joanna believed in you. Did you have anybody that said, like, you're crazy for trying to do this?
So many people.
How do you navigate that, especially when they're close to you?
Yeah, pretty please help everyone with that.
Yes.
So let me tell you, I think it's really challenging. It's real because it happens to all of us, okay? And like you said, it's your people. And I'm going to say, I guess to give them the benefit of the doubt is that they love you, right?
Yep.
And they don't want to see you fail.
Yeah.
So, and maybe they're not an entrepreneur, or maybe they're not in a position in their life where they achieve their goals and their dreams. So they don't want to see you go through that. I always try to look at things from both angles, right?
Clearly, I love that.
Because if it's family, it's people that loves you, they're not going to want to take you away from what you love and your passion, right? So that's how I look at that. But when I first got here, I had someone who has been very close to me in my life. And, and I said to her, oh my God, now my girls are good. I was able to save enough money to bring my furniture down, so we no longer sleep in an air mattress.
Look at her, how excited! Yeah, yes.
And no, let me tell you,
Back
it was
to
cute.
basics.
We used to have picnics on the floor every day, and it was because we didn't have a dining room table. But hey, I said to my girl,
You made it work.
We're having a picnic
Yeah,
today.
and they probably didn't know any different. They probably loved it because they have an amazing
They
mom.
loved it.
That's like Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah, man.
They sleep in the bathroom.
Right?
Yep.
That's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
But because you make what you want out of any situation, you either allow it to break you or you allow it to build you up. And that's what I wanted to do. I needed to make sure that it wasn't even about me. I needed to make sure that the situation that we were in, it did not break my girls.
Yeah.
So, but long story short, back to the lady. I love her, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I got all my stuff ready. I'm bringing my furniture down. So I want to use you. She's actually in the network of vendors. So I want to use you as one of my vendors, and this is what I want to do. Da, da, da. I'm like, Jenny, unless you know the right people, you got to be ready to fail. There's no way. There's too many people doing what you do. There's no way you're going to be successful here.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if you listen to that? Like, for all the listeners right now, you had someone that cares about you, that you clearly care about, who's in your circle, who you want to work with. They are saying, if you try this, there's too many. It can't be done. There's too many people here. There's. If you listened, we would not be here today.
Yeah.
No chance.
Right.
How do you make sure you stay true to yourself when people you care about are telling you otherwise? A quick example. Sometimes you got to learn and fail forward on your own anyway.
Yeah.
And then learn from that. So what is your take on that? Go ahead.
What is your take on that 3.5 hour long question?
Yeah.
What? I think it goes back to that sentence I said earlier. It's all about your circle. Who is in your circle. So I really believe in having positive mentors in my life. I really truly believe with our youth leadership top notch. That's what we tell our kids. You need a mentor.
Oh yeah.
So I listen to the negative input, and I say, you know what? Okay.
In that particular circumstance, did it? Because I've had times in my life where I'm like, I've kind of strayed a little.
Yeah.
And then my heart was like, dude, that's not the advice you want to take. They could be right, but I have to go fail forward anyway on my own terms. I'd rather fail forward on my own terms than listen to someone else's advice and quit.
Then be sorry.
And be sorry about it and regret it. So
it actually motivated me.
Oh, nice.
It actually,
Perfect.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to show you that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's the best answer you can give.
I'm going to show you that I can do this. And
Yeah.
So I kept looking. I kept knocking on doors, right? So who was going to be part of that circle that I wanted to build of positivity and greatness? The property manager here in the building, in this room that we're in right now, this used to be his conference room. And I couldn't afford an office back then, yet I had to start at zero.
Yeah.
So I said to him, this is what I do, and I really want to establish my business again, but I really can't afford an office. Do you think I can, meet with clients? Maybe he used to have these sitting lounge like throughout the building.
Yeah.
So I used to say, you think I can sit at one of those lounges and like sit with a client, talk to them about services? Where he's like, Jenny, you can use that conference room over there in the corner. I'm like, oh, okay. And I walked in this room, and it used to be a really ugly rug back from who knows how many ages ago, a long table, really dark, books. It used to be set up almost like a library.
Yeah.
Okay. Black chairs, black tables, ugly rug. And I was like, this did not.
Edgar Allan Poe.
I say a man probably set that up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, oh my God, I want this to be my office one day. And
The intention was set.
4 years later.
4 years later.
But I'm here. It took 4 years. I started in this little tiny office over there between the kitchen and his office. I made the best of it. It was the smallest, cutest office in the entire building. But
So
now I'm here.
That is a dream come true.
Yeah.
Literally, at one point, 4 years ago, for all the listeners, you thought, I want this to be my office one day.
Yeah.
One thing Kevin and I talk about all the time is like our visions always come true eventually if we never quit. But the key word is eventually, because it almost always takes longer than you thought it would. as an entrepreneur, what can you give in terms of advice of other people out there that really want to take that leap? They want to chase their dreams, but they have every reason why not to. You had every reason under the sun not to do what you were going to do because you had every challenge imaginable. What advice would you give to someone who wants to take that leap, but they're afraid that they'll fail?
You can't be afraid of failure, because you can either choose to allow it to break you or build you up. I've had so many times, that I've been disappointed, and I'm like, oh my God, to a client, I'll give my all to them, and I become very emotionally attached because I love what I do. It's not a job, So when I'm like, yes, and you're going to be amazing, and that dress looks beautiful, and the day is going to be perfect, and then something happens where I am reminded that for some people, it's a business transaction. I'm like, man, I don't want to do this.
I gave my heart and soul to that person, and
but you have to get back up, and you have to get back up, or make sure you have people in your life that would remind you, that that was just a hump. They're going to remind you why you're doing this to begin with. It's your passion. It's your dream. So yes, maybe you feel like crap right now, but get back up and let's do it. And tomorrow will be a better day. And just work a little harder.
Love it.
And one of the things I always say is you are going to end up somewhere in your life. You might as well choose where it goes. Like you're going to end up somewhere.
Yes.
Put your finger on the map and decide where you're going to end up. And I love the fact that you say it either breaks you or it grows you, it strengthens you.
Yeah.
There is no failure until it's final. Until you say, I'm done, I'm out, I'm tapping out, I cannot do this anymore, I quit, until that moment actually happens, you're still in the game. And if you're still in the game, you still have resources, you still have a good circle, you're not done. You can still just figure out another way.
Yeah.
I'm super motivated by you.
Super
motivated.
Me too, for sure.
What you just said, figure out another way.
Yes.
There's always another way. And we make, and I include myself, we make the mistake of thinking, well, this is how I want it. This is where I want to go. And that's the path that I'm going to take. Well,
but
no.
there's a million ways
but
to get
there's so
there.
many, there's so many different ways to get there. So as long as you understand that, you know what, if you're going to go that way and you're going to hit a wall or fall or whatever happens, just get back up, turn back around, stop for a moment and think, because the other problem too is that a lot of us, and I include myself in it, I like to be in control. I like to be in control of my future, my path, where I'm going. So
event planner.
Yeah.
Control.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'll get up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this again. And I'll just go. But if you don't stop and think and analyze your process,
Yeah.
you're going to fall again.
Yeah.
You
Make
know
the
what I
same
mean?
mistake
You're gonna
again.
make the same mistakes.
Or history repeats itself. Yeah.
You need to really allow yourself to think about what steps did you take to go there that led you to falling and breaking apart and, running into a wall, so that when you take the next path, you don't run into the same obstacles.
Sometimes it's not the goal, it's the approach.
Right.
Like that's the thing. It's
Yeah.
the approach,
Yes,
and you
yes.
have to try different approaches. So Alan and I talk about this all the time. We recently went back and looked at some of our old podcast clips, and they are dog shit. Let me tell you. Do you and that
In comparison to now.
Yeah. And that's important to do because at one time we
You learn
thought
from your mistakes.
We thought that was
awesome.
good. Yeah. Yeah, we
But
genuinely
it helps
did.
us grow.
Yeah.
It helps
I
us
did
grow.
too.
I was going to ask you the same question. Do you look back on either weddings or events and say, "Oh God,
Yeah.
oh no, that was terrible."
I've deleted pictures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Well, because as you go,
Your standards.
Right? Your standards change. Your what do you call it? It's not even your standards, but like the room can look absolutely beautiful, but then if the napkin, it's not completely 100% straight, that's a problem.
Yeah.
At least for me, in my eyes.
Yeah.
So
well, no,
when
that's your craft.
So when I'm looking at pictures, I looked at the room and I'm like, yes, it's perfect. I take pictures as I'm there and I look at the picture. Oh my God, no, wait a second. That napkin is not completely straight. Or when you're looking at the table and the plates, the charger plates with the napkins are down and you take a picture from that angle down. all the plates are not perfectly lined up. Little stuff like that, But back then, I mean, you learn as you go.
I think that's important. It's important to be able to look back and say, like, I've come a long way. Like, we say that all the time. We've come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
You've come a long way. Thousands of miles, years.
Yeah.
And it's good to look back and get that perspective. I'm understanding that more and more now.
Yeah.
For sure.
If you didn't fail forward so many times, correct me if I'm wrong, but you would not know nearly as much as you know right now.
Of course.
Like each one of those failures, you kind of contemplate. I always say when you succeed, you celebrate. When you fail, you contemplate. And that's why the failures are necessary as long as you learn from them, because when you kind of have that emotional blow, I've said this for a while now, if it stings, it sticks. My last fitness show. Like, I was literally backstage. I knew I lost because the judges weren't feeling me. Kind of got laughed off stage, to be honest. Oh, no. And I'm already backstage looking on how to improve. I'm talking to opposing coach. I'm on the vlog with my girlfriend Jenny, talking about all the things I need to do differently. Like, even just, we hadn't even known if I failed yet. I just thought I did. Just the idea of me failing already made me better.
Right.
You gotta go fail. You have to.
But having that mentality is what's going to help you be successful.
Yeah.
Because had you stood there and taken the other route and being like,
it's not for me.
This is not for me. That's it. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you're not going to be successful. Of course, you're not going to push yourself forward to try even harder, to prep and do all the things that you need to do to make sure that before you even get an answer from the judges, you got this.
Yeah. For next time, I'm going to be better no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you do that after each event.
I do.
So
I am my hardest
I've noticed that.
Judge.
Critic.
I am. But I think that's how I was trained, by my mentors, by, my mom. It's, you have to be your biggest critic because that's what's going to help you. Not just deliver 100%, but also teach others. I want to grow my team. I want my team to be able to do things that, I have one of my staff and she says, Jenny, I want to be like you. I want to be just like you. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's the best.
So
Kevin says that to me every day.
Not true.
Really?
Not a single time.
No, he definitely does.
I don't want to look like a Ken doll. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. he always throws them out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you
It's
know
all
what I
love.
mean? It's like, so to me, that's like a motivation that, yes, I want to continue to inspire her. So I want to make sure that I teach her well.
Yeah.
And when I make mistakes, I point it out. I'm like, you know what? This is what I should have done. I did this, but if had I done this, it would have been better.
Yeah.
And now, not only am I correcting myself, but I'm also making sure that she learns what the better way is.
Super important question. I think that you're obviously an achiever. You're obviously someone who never settles for less than she can be. Unbelievable. I'm super inspired and motivated right now. I know everyone else is going to be as well. One of the things that I find that achievers struggle with is being grateful for what is while in pursuit of what they want. So how do you balance that? And what are your gratitude rituals, practices, whatever? I noticed that you said God a few times. Obviously, you're spiritual.
Let me tell you. Yep. So God is my strength. And that is something, I'm glad you brought it up because that is something that really, really has helped me be where I am today. So going through the struggles that I mentioned earlier, my girls and everything is I would sit at night and pray and I'm like, God, I don't know how I ended here. You know that I had all the best intentions to get my girls my daughter to a better place. And now all this other stuff came up, the second baby being sick and all that. But I always say that my faith has kept me strong.
Yeah.
And time, we talked about that earlier. And I feel that, and I know, not that I feel, I know God's timing is perfect. And I had to learn that the hard way. Because I am a control freak. I do like to be in charge.
Yeah.
I said, I came back when I got back up and I'm like, all right, my daughter's good. My furniture's here. My inventory is here. It's time for me. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And I had a plan. And let me tell you, I hit the wall a couple of times.
For sure.
Bad. And it was not until I reconnected, I started going to church again, and I was like, you know what, I'm not happy. My business is here, it's thriving, but I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. There's just something missing. So I started going to church again, and I was like, you know what, God, I need you to take control and guide me, because clearly there's something missing. Even though my business was doing great, my girls.
Well, you weren't feeling fulfilled as
but
much?
I was not feeling fulfilled because things were not running the way I wanted them to.
Yeah, expectations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My expectations were here.
Yep.
That
That is the biggest struggle for achievers. I find myself there. And then Kevin and I talked about this on the way here. You were last night thinking of all the things you're grateful for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, I haven't done that in so damn long.
Yeah.
I hadn't either. I've recently done that a lot. And I feel so much better. What's your take on being patient, but also ambitious, and then staying grateful along the way? Like, what do you do? Like, what's a practical tip?
Practical tip.
To stay grateful while pursuing more, being grateful for what is.
Oh, Jesus.
I know that's
I know
like,
what you're saying.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, that's
It's
a hard
so
balance.
It's really it's probably the most challenging balance that anybody can go through. So I started every single morning when I wake up. I thank God for what I have. I wasn't doing that often. I was so focused when I first moved here, and I was dealing with all the struggles and everything that I was so focused on getting to a better place,
Yeah.
that I wasn't looking at all the things that were happening, all the good things that were happening.
Yeah.
I didn't have my house anymore. I didn't have, my business the way that I had it anymore. I didn't have all this, but I had so many other things.
Yeah.
My girls were happy.
Yeah.
My girls were healthy.
Which is the biggest thing.
Exactly.
Right there.
So,
Your girls are healthy. At one point, you didn't have that.
right.
And that's everything.
So
Yeah.
I feel that every day you got to be grateful for life. I wake up every day and I say, thank you, God, for everything you're giving me.
Yeah.
Thank you for today.
Love it.
And then I have my goals. I definitely have everything written down and all my dreams and everything that I want to achieve.
Yeah.
But I've taken a step back a little, and I'm allowing things to fall one at a time.
We talked about that last time we
Yes.
spoke, especially you want to focus more on fitness stuff, which is
Yep.
huge. Start being more well-rounded
Yes.
and
Yes.
fulfilled. I do have one super simple question, and then I'm going to let Kevin ask one since I'm just throwing a ton at you at once.
He said super simple. So
Yeah.
let's see here. Let's see what this is.
When you wanted to have this be your office,
Yes.
now we're in here, in this room that at one point 4 years ago was just a dream. How long, when you set that intention, did you think it would take versus what it actually took?
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
and that's when I hit the wall.
So how long did you think it would take back
I-
then, if you guessed?
I thought it was only a matter of months,
Yeah.
because that's who I am. In my mind,
Yeah.
there's no way that I can't.
But
do
it
this.
did happen.
It happened.
So you could have allowed that to frustrate you every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could have had faith and trusted that it would eventually happen as long as you keep pushing forward.
Exactly.
One of the things that one of our guests, shout out to Lori Harder, said is that if you're above 0%, you're still making progress. And that she used to try to put together these 100% productive days. And looking back, it was like 60% days. And to try to be compassionate with yourself along the way. I'm just as impatient as you. I think optimists are.
Yeah.
All of my dreams are coming true. It's just taking way damn longer than I hoped. So what I'm finding is that I'm frustrated along the way. And what I'm starting to realize in my maturity, and most recently too, is that I'm going to achieve my dreams. I know that. I got to learn how to be happy along the way
Exactly.
and not just frustrated the whole time.
Right.
Is that something you've come across?
Yeah. No, definitely. And you have to remind yourself.
Yeah.
You have to remind yourself. All right. So what is it that I'm working on right now? What's my priority right now? I'm a dreamer. I have so many dreams. so
Yeah.
many things. And it's like it doesn't stop, right?
Yeah,
It's
no, it just keeps coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have gowns because I wanted to help my clients. I wasn't planning on having a boutique and none of that, but it turned out that it's a business of its own. My clients need this service, so now I'm opening a boutique soon.
Yeah.
So I still do. I have to remind myself, all right, Jenny, you have your short-term goals, the things that I want to accomplish immediately because they make sense. These are things that I can definitely accomplish and be successful
Yeah.
at. Before, I wanted to do it all. And I wanted to do it all now.
Yes.
I
resonate so strongly with that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
man.
wanted to draw now.
Yeah.
and because I see myself as this strong, independent, strong woman, I would say there's nothing that can stop me. I can do it, and I did it, but I was not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And isn't that
Along the
crazy?
way.
Along the way.
Yeah, I've felt that way.
So-
Until recently. I've recently shifted it a bit. I kind of fall out and then back in.
Yeah.
I know you know that.
So
yeah.
now I feel, because I'm actually enjoying the process. I'm developing my process to achieve my goals.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the key. It's like, yeah, you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but
Oh, yeah.
let's focus on 1 and 2, maybe 3, and get those things under control and have them be 100% successful. And then you can focus on 4 and 5.
I love that.
Yeah. Have you enjoyed the journey a ton?
I love my journey.
You love it.
I've learned so much from myself.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not the same person that I was 4 years ago when I got
Oh,
here.
yeah,
I
no.
am not the same person that I was 7 years ago when I started the
7
business.
months ago when we
Yeah,
met, you're
right.
so much different. I remember when I came here for the speech,
Yeah.
top-notch scholars, who
Yeah.
are top-notch, by the way. My goodness. You, me, and Joanna talked so much for like an extra hour and a half. Sorry, I
Yep.
kept it till like 9:30, just
Yeah.
rambling about fitness. But I was telling you both, like, we got to get you back on the podcast
Yeah.
because we got to get you on first
I
and
know.
foremost, and then Joanna's going to come back on because she's changed so much in the last 7
Yeah.
months too.
Yeah.
And I want to,
we want people to know like that. The stuff we talk about is the stuff that you're living, that Joanna's living, that you're living, that I'm living, and in 6 months, a year, tomorrow, you could be a different version of yourself if you start today.
Exactly.
Like it's not
And
easy.
if you stay focused.
Yes, for
you
sure.
know, you're right. Where we were for Top Notch, back then, we thought we were.
yeah, yeah. But
Like,
now,
Well, now we're like, wait.
yeah.
It's beautiful because we also took a step back. We took a step back. We analyzed things. Now we are so focused. We're so determined to perfecting the process. It's all about the process.
It is.
Yeah.
We look back and we say, I think when you said learning, you learn, you keep learning, you keep learning. That is so important because Alan and I were talking about, the podcast and when it's going to do this, when it's going to do that, when we're going to have this, when we're going to have that. What we really know now is that every single time we didn't get the expectation we expected, we learned something we didn't know that we
Right.
needed somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
Right.
And we never would have learned it if we didn't, say, I don't care about these failures right now.
Exactly.
They're fine. I'm learning from them every time.
Exactly.
Every time.
Every
What was the
time.
analogy you used about the level? Like a sword you find on level
Oh,
1?
yeah. So in video games,
Yeah.
a lot of times you'll find a sword in level 1.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get to level 2 and you'll be like, I don't need this sword at all. I don't know why I even have it. Maybe I'll just get rid of it. You get to level 5 and you need that sword.
Okay.
You never would have had that sword if you quit on level 3 or level 4. You never would have understood the purpose of it.
Yeah.
That's
And that's
so
why
true.
you just have to put your head down. If you fully believe in it, if you believe you're going to achieve it, if you believe this is your thing,
Yeah.
just keep doing it because maybe you haven't found the way yet. We haven't found the way to mass success,
Yeah.
financial freedom. We haven't found the way to that yet.
Not yet.
But we're going to because
Oh,
we're
yeah.
just going to keep doing what it takes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's perfecting that process.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, like I'm talking to you and I'm looking at the dress behind you, and I literally had a flashback to when I wanted this room so bad. I used to say to the property manager, I'm like, no, but you don't understand. Every window, we have window all the way around the back. And I used to say, every window, I'm going to put a mannequin and a cake and this, and I'm going to have my photographer and I'm going to have this. 4 years ago. So when they rented this space back 4 years ago, it was available.
Yeah.
And obviously I couldn't afford it. There was no way I could afford it. So I was dreaming.
Yeah.
And when they rented it, I was like, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
And I did not understand I didn't understand why. Like I went back to, I can't believe this. They rented it. There's no way I'm gonna have that dream, that one-stop shop with all my vendors and everything. I was nowhere near prepared.
Yeah.
It's not even about the money.
Yeah.
It not being able to afford the office. I was not prepared emotionally, even operations wise, even the vendors themselves. Now I have a photographer and videographer that's also renting space with us downstairs. We have
That's
a
right.
photo studio
Yep.
in-house. We have top-notch scholars with us.
You ever need a fitness model for the
there we go.
photographers? You let me know.
Yes.
Throw on one of these dresses.
Yeah, exactly. Well.
we have another space in the back that we're preparing. It's going to be a little mini spa so that I can pamper my brides and my families to come in. Yeah, and you guys when you guys come back to visit me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I am extremely moved, extremely motivated, super proud to even know you
Thank
as a
you.
person. And I feel like you're just not the same. Like you're just different. You're just different. You're super curious. That's why you get things done, because you're willing to ask questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think we've heard so many success stories and so many great testimonials about you and your business?
you.
What do you offer people that I can't get somewhere else? I'm not getting married, but right now.
Right now.
But what do you offer? Like, what differentiates you from John Doe down the street? And I know the answer to this already because I've been around you long enough.
Yeah.
But and what services do you offer? I want you to plug away.
Yeah.
Hopefully, there's beautiful young women and men that want to get married, and you can do that for them.
Yeah.
So it's funny you ask, because I always say I don't sell a service. I sell an experience. I offer an experience. If you're looking for a deal, unfortunately, economy is bad right now. It's hard. So I know that a lot of people think they can't afford certain things, but I educate my clients in making the right choices for their services, what they need. So if you're getting married, and we sit down, we talk about your gown, your colors, your cake, your food, your flowers. I mean, everything and anything, the limo, the photographer, all of the services you need. It's a one complete stop shop, right? But we talk about your budget. I'm very realistic. I am not going to sit here and entertain an idea that's only going to bury you under bills and debt. And now you're going to walk away, have the day of your dream, and then go home and have
resent
marital problems for the next 6 months because your husband can't, you can't afford it, or, it causes problems.
Yeah.
I've dealt with clients that are now dealing with, fights and arguments because why did we have to have that ice sculpture or things like that? So I refuse to allow that to happen. And that's why I talk to you guys about the experience and about learning the story, getting to know my clients. If you have the budget, yes, let's do it, but I'm still going to make sure that it's educated choices, not throwing money out the window. If you don't have it, then I'm going to make sure that we still fulfill your dreams in an affordable way.
There's a couple things you mentioned. This is a great segue because you mentioned you're obviously very unique in the best way. There's a couple things that are jumping off the page for me in this interview, and I keep writing them down. Number one is that you're super resourceful. And you just mentioned that, like, you have a budget, and so you have a dream, and then you have a budget, and let's map the process of how to get to your dream with your current budget.
Yes.
Which is kind of what individuals need to do when they're chasing their dreams.
Exactly.
Like Kevin and I have had to do what we can with what we have. You've had to do the same thing.
Yep.
And you couldn't afford this room at one point. Now you can. So now it's real. We want a studio at some point, right? And so that's huge. So resourcefulness jumps off the page big time because it's never resources that are the problem, even though that's the excuses we make.
Yep.
It's a lack of resourcefulness.
Exactly. And I always tell my clients, call me. Any questions you're dealing with, any struggles, call me, because if I don't have it, if I don't know the answer, I will figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that a lot of clients end up spending a lot more money than what they need to, is because they go on Amazon, they go online and order things that they think they need, but they don't need. They'll go meet with the vendor down the street because that's the vendor that someone referred, but you didn't look at testimonials. You didn't look at the experience. You didn't look at their quality service. Maybe they make a beautiful cake, but it tastes disgusting. Or maybe it tastes delicious, but they arrive late at your wedding. So that's information that you need to know.
Yeah, that only you could know because you're in this arena.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I sit with my client, we literally, exactly what you described right now, that's exactly the process. Is we study the process. I break it down from the dream, the dream, because at the end of the day, I need to bring that dream to life,
Yep.
So what is your dream day? What is your dream wedding? What is your dream?
The ideal vision.
The ideal vision,
Yep.
And then, we talk about budget. Where are we at? What are we working with? Who's helping with this? Is mom helping? Is the grandparents helping? Because a lot of times I deal with families that everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants everybody wants to decide who you're, what venue you're going to use. They want to use the venue that's $99 per person, but they're not helping you pay the bill.
Yeah, exactly.
So things like that, right? And then we break it down to the last very detail, okay, so we need a cake. Let's talk about that. Right?
This is the whole thing. This
It's
whole
a
wedding thing. It's like a lot.
Yeah. And that's why I really take pride on what I do.
You put all that on your shoulders. You do all of it, and then you have all your vendors you work with, but it's you. You take full responsibility.
I take full responsibility.
So much leadership.
So what happens is all my vendors, it's all about trust and relationship, right? So I don't just, when you hire me for your event, for example, right? I don't just go knock on doors and see who's gonna help me. I have my list of vendors that I trust.
So based on the budget, you
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So based on your budget, I'm going to decide who's the right fit. Okay. And then we will put you on a payment plan. Once we have everything, the limo, the cake, the dress, the decorations, the invitations, all of it. All of your services, it's one stop. Instead of you having to hire 15 people, you're just hiring me.
Yep.
Now, you're only paying me, and I pay my vendors.
Exactly.
Okay? And then I say trust because my client is trusting that I will hire the right vendor, not just based on their budget, but also based on their personality. Like, for example, I'm not going to place a DJ that I know will not be a good fit for your personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot of responsibility.
It's huge.
That's huge.
It's huge. And that's why I say, what I was saying earlier, I take pride in what I do is there's a huge difference between a planner, whether you're a wedding planner or an event planner, and a decorator, and I think that anyone watching this, it's something that's really, really important for them to understand is when you're hiring a planner, you want to make sure that all of these things are fulfilled. You're getting it in writing, looking for references, look at their client testimonials, find out if they're really are they really trained and capable of delivering the experience you're looking for.
Yeah, on the budget you have.
On the budget you have.
Yeah.
Right. Versus someone who can potentially decorate a beautiful room, do an amazing job bringing your vision to life, but the vision goes along with the experience.
Yeah, not just the visual of the vision, it's the experience as well. Oh, so good.
Yeah, you have a great system.
Right?
You have a great system.
It reminded me a lot of like coaching versus personal trainers, like a personal trainer in a gym, like half-hour session, do this, this, and this, versus like a coach who talks to you about your unique dreams, mapping the process to that, leveraging the pillars based on your time, activity levels, resources.
It's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. It's like you almost become a life coach as well. What my clients sometimes are dealing with, the pressure from the family, or maybe the stress of, oh my God, this wedding is costing X, and now it's costing, tension between the couple. Let's sit down. Let's have a coffee.
Right.
Let's talk about this for a second. And I kind of help them and coach them to make them feel, first of all, valuable. I want my clients to see the value of the services that I'm providing, rather than I'm over here planning and making sure everything's perfect, but she's over there stressing out about things that she shouldn't
you
be
care
doing
about
well.
them.
Right.
Yeah, you're genuine. You just genuinely care about the wedding and everything involved, or whatever the event is.
Yeah.
Everything. The stress that they're carrying, what's going on in their life. I think that is next level.
It is.
That is next level.
I know. I'm super impressed.
Are you ready for my favorite question to ask people?
Yes.
What do you want to accomplish before you die?
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we just went there.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
big. Before I die.
It's Kevin's signature question.
It's my favorite.
There's a lot
There's
that
a
I
lot.
want to do before I die. I mean, the next step for me, I'm not going to say that's the last step, but definitely the next step, my biggest goal is to own a standalone building where I have all my vendors in-house. Like right now, I have all of my services, but it's like going to a mall, but the mall for an event center. It's basically what I would call it.
Wow.
And
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I know, right?
Or are you creating that thing?
That's my dream, and
Nice.
I
Is
don't.
that-
I have not seen it out there.
No, I haven't either. I was just going to
Yeah.
ask that same question.
So I want to have the venue, which I have here, but it's not my building. You know what I mean? So everything
Yet.
that I've created here, yet, yeah, you know, everything that I've created here, I currently I travel to different states and things like that, right? But with the different venues and the different relationships that I have with the other vendors, but having a standalone building where there is a function hall and there's a florist and there's my decorations and there's my linens and my boutique and everybody like, yeah.
Yeah, because you are the one-stop shop for this part of it. You will be at the one-stop shop for everything else.
And I'm the one-stop shop, like my services. For example, I still travel to Florida.
Yeah, she does everything.
Yeah.
It's just, this
yeah.
will be all in one building.
No,
Exactly.
I mean, you're the one-stop shop. When I come to you, you just do everything.
Right.
Now, in your building, you have everything.
Yeah.
So everything's easier.
I'm excited.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
That
So
is
that's
awesome.
that's the ideal goal.
That is cool.
And then my next thing is definitely you probably don't know who David Totera is.
Believe it or not,
You
I
do?
think I do. I think he was on the Style Channel at some
Yes.
point. Yeah, I do. I'm
So
sorry.
he's amazing.
Oh my goodness. All right.
No,
I do not.
You know what? If anybody's gonna learn anything, you would learn from someone like him. You know, he to me, and I don't even know this guy on a personal level, but I study him.
A hero of yours.
Yeah,
Love it.
He it's you know that drive and that passion that I keep talking about.
Yeah.
You know that's what he has, and so I feel that whatever it is that I do in my business, whether it is dresses or you know the spa or whatever it is, I have so much passion and so much drive in me that I feel that drives my clients, that attracts my clients, and
Definitely.
and that's kind of the same thing that he has. So my next big thing it's I want to be national. I'm already in a couple of different states, but
Yes.
that's the goal.
I love it.
Love it. You have a hero. Kevin's is Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Joanna's was, I believe, Eric Thomas. Mine is
Yeah.
Tony Robbins. Like we all have that. Someone carved their own unique path, and
Yes.
like it's similar to
Yep.
what we feel we admire and we want to pursue. That's awesome.
And
And you
it's-
learn
and-
from him.
You do, and
Yeah.
and it helps you stay focused. You know how we were talking about the mentors and everything
Yeah.
else. You look at him, and he's a family man. He's a dad,
Yeah.
and he also has merchandise. I'm working on merchandise. He
Yeah.
has his gowns. I have my gowns. So it has. When you have those people that we talked about earlier trying to tell you that no, you can't do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
They used to tell me that there was no way that I could get into the gown business because I needed capital to
Wow.
get into it. I did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
Shame
know,
on
Yeah,
them.
we're looking at how many of them right now.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of them.
and I
Luckily, you
have
didn't
not-
listen.
I have not borrowed a penny
Yeah.
to get into this business. I have been very strategic about the process.
I want
keep
everyone to
saying the
hear that.
process.
Someone told you you can't get into the gown business without capital, meaning
Yep.
money.
Yep.
You did.
Everybody, and let me tell you, I almost fell for it. I literally
Luckily you
had.
didn't.
I had someone. There's an organization in here in my city that helps entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Get funding so you can grow or either start a new business or
Yeah.
grow. And I was ready. I was getting all my paperwork ready because I really wanted to get into this gown business.
Yeah.
And I believed I needed capital because that's what I was being educated.
Mm.
Okay.
Be careful who you learn from.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went back to basics. I ran into a wall. I was frustrated because the process was very long and a lot of paperwork, and they were asking me questions that I couldn't answer. So I said, you know what? Maybe this is happening for a reason. I was like, God, what do you want me to do? So with my first gown client, which is this pink gown right here, my first gown client. With that money that I charged her for the dress, I bought the dress. And then I kept going. So every client that I would sell or rent, I would invest.
Into another dress.
Into another dress. Into another dress.
you just
into another dress.
And now you
So
have
profit
this.
right into your company.
Right back into my company.
Yeah.
And that's how how I started with the $500.
Yeah.
I own so much inventory, but again, I have not borrowed a penny. I
awesome.
literally have taken the same income that's coming in from my clients, and instead of blowing it away like some people do,
Yeah, you invested in
or-
the future of your business.
Exactly. I put it back into inventory. Things that I know you got to buy smart, things that you know that you can use again. Something that, okay, what gown will, for example, something here is that a lot of people in my community can't afford to buy a dress. And like these dresses are pretty expensive, right? It's a dress that they wear for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, can I rent you the dress? Why won't you rent the dress instead of buying a dress that you can't afford?
Yeah.
So my client's like, really? Yes. So I went from clients that were spending $1,400, $1,700 on one gown that they were going to put on for 45 minutes, to renting them a gown for $300-$400.
Yeah.
That they're still good. Nobody needs to know that the dress is rented. It's
Yeah,
not like I'm going to announce it.
Well, now everyone's going to know.
need it back.
I'm kidding.
I need it back.
Yeah,
Bring
exactly.
it back.
Well, obviously, I'm telling you guys, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at my social media, I would never say
why would
who's
you?
rented and
Yeah.
who's purchased.
Yeah.
Nobody
You'd never
needs
know.
to know.
You would never know.
So you're gonna go out that night and look amazing,
Yeah,
and
which was the goal.
enjoy your day
Yep.
and have amazing pictures. And I just saved you a good couple of $100
Right.
bucks. So with the remaining money that they're saving gets put right back into other things.
That they wanted in there.
that they needed for the event.
So you have options to tweak. That's so cool. So you have like, if you could value this more than this, then we can move that there because you have a certain budget. How do we get everything you want? Okay, let's say we can't add everything. Let's just do these things that are most important to you specifically.
I always say that it's all about educating your client,
Yeah.
right? No matter what service you're providing them with. Because when I educate them about not spending $1,700 on a dress, somebody else will say, Jenny, are you crazy? Why don't you just sell them the dress for $15? Save them $200 and sell them the dress anyways. I'm like, no, because I'm educating them on things that I know they need. So even though...
And they'll come back to you for that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
They'll come back. They'll tell other people to come back. But then I said, hey, guess what? That $600-$700 that we just saved, how about we hire a photographer?
Yeah.
We need pictures,
Yep.
pictures that will last forever
Yep.
and things like that.
Love it.
We always talk about the short term versus the long term.
Yeah.
In the short term game, if you said, you know what, I'll give you $400 off, it's $1,300. Maybe in the short term, you would stack up money, stack. But in 5 years, you are going to have so many people that are like, no, you got to go see her. Like, she will make it work. No matter what your budget is, she'll make it work.
Yeah.
You just see more clearly than a lot of people do. And
Yeah.
that also has a lot to do with your personality and who you are as a person. I think that you are in the perfect space.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
can't picture you anywhere else.
Oh, I know. It's
Anywhere
great.
else.
It's great. It's definitely your thing.
Right.
Kevin always asks the question, what do you want to accomplish before you die? Loved your answer. We should call it Jenny Alvarez's big old goddamn building.
Yes.
No. I don't know what your name would be, but I just wanted to say that because I make jokes sometimes. The question that I like to ask is, I think there's a part of us, the truest part of us is the part of us that kind of never changed. And I think that after picking your brain for a good, hour and a half here.
Yeah, I know. Like, it goes by quick.
It goes
Been
by
an hour
quick.
and a
It's been over.
It's been a long time.
What?
Hour and 12. I was
can't
hour
remember
and
from you.
hour and 18. I was off. But what part of you do you believe, and you can take a minute for this if you need it, what part of you do you believe never changed?
I'm going to be selfish for this one. I'm going to say, I think my faith in myself, because I never lost faith in me.
I don't think that's selfish at all.
At
all.
It might not sound like a lot, but I believe that I can do this. I felt, and every time I felt, I'm like, you know what, Jenny, you got this. You can do this.
Yeah.
And I would get back up and when I couldn't, apply for that loan that I wanted, Jenny, you got this. How else can I do it? So I challenged myself to think of another solution. Just like we were talking about the roads, the road of life earlier, is the obstacles that you run into them. I chose to sit down and think for a moment and say, okay, what else can I do? How else can I achieve my dreams? How else can I, reach my goals?
Self-belief.
I don't
Faith
think
in
that's
yourself.
selfish at all.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Because if you
That's
don't
the one thing that did change for me. Like I had no self-belief a year ago, 2 years ago. That changed dramatically for me. So the fact that you've had that all along is even a greater example of why you are where you are and where you're going to get wherever you want to get, because you won't stop until you do. Like that's that undeniable self-belief.
Did you notice that we connected really deeply on the patience thing?
Yeah.
And the being so focused on the dream, but like not appreciating along the way as much as we wish we were. I think it's optimists and people who have a lot of undying self-belief. I think they get frustrated with how long it takes.
Yes.
Because like I know I can do literally anything I set my mind to. For sure.
Right.
Not gonna lie, usually I think it's gonna happen quicker than it does.
Oh my God, yes.
And it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
But I really
It
connect with you on
sucks.
that. Yeah.
You know, when you really think that I've been in situations I'm like, are you serious? So now what?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
What's next for
Totally.
me? But you go through a process. I always say, I cry for 15 minutes and then the next, to get those emotions out.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next 45, I pull out my little notebook and my pen. I'm like, all right, let's start strategizing.
Yeah, brand new start.
What do we need to do here?
How often do you say, it's a new day,
Yeah.
new life, I'm never going to be the same again? Like after those moments you're talking
many
about, I had
times.
one of those this weekend on Sunday,
Yeah.
super emotional day. My goodness, Father's Day, that whole thing. I knew right after that, like I cried a ton. Right after that, I knew like I'm done. I'm never the same. I'm done. I'm never going to be the same.
Right.
And I'm just like full steam ahead again.
Yeah.
So I connect with you so much on that self-belief and the impatience thing. It's something
Yeah.
we got to work on.
Yeah.
But this has been absolutely unbelievable. A couple more things that jumped off the page. Resourcefulness for sure. Super resourceful. How to do a lot with very little.
Absolutely.
My goodness. Always saying, how can I help?
Yes.
You're always trying to help others rather than like get the quick buck of like selling the $1,700 gown rather than renting it for $300 and then
Right.
making their vision a reality. That's going to be huge in the long run. In the short term, it may appear like a hit to you and your business. It's not. So love that.
And you know that clearly.
Yeah, you
clearly
obviously
you know
that. Yeah. Never quit as well. We got the never quit kid
Yes.
himself over there with the tattoo.
Yes.
You're totally a never quit person. And
Thank you.
yeah, this has been amazing.
I love it. Is there anything that you want to plug before we go? Like websites, social media handles? I'll put them in the description as well.
Yeah.
But anything that you want to plug away.
Plug. So I have what? I already said I am a one-stop shop. I have all my
Yes.
services. So one thing that a lot of people don't think they can do is I don't mind wearing whatever hat my client needs me to wear. So a lot of times I have clients that are like, oh, well, I didn't know that I could just hire you to be my day off coordinator. Yes, you can. I didn't know that I could hire you just to do my flowers. Yes, you can. I didn't know that I could just hire you to decorate for me. Yes, you can.
So you're not just a one-stop shop. You're that if you want everything, I can do everything. But if
Exactly.
you want one thing,
You got that
Exactly.
also.
So that's an
Love it.
option. And,
Okay.
and I accommodate to my clients' needs. So if you come to me and you say, you know what, Jenny, I love what you're doing, but I already, and this happens all the time, I already have the venue. I already have the
Yeah.
flowers. I already have the decorations. But you know what? I have nobody to run the show for me. And I am nervous. I need somebody that can be my right hand. Yes,
Love
I'll
it.
be your day off event coordinator. You know what I mean? Or someone who just needs a gown. So it is a one-stop shop basically because it's a convenience to my clients, but I will do whatever they need me to do.
I love it.
love it.
I love it. Anything else, Alan?
I think that's everything. This has been amazing.
This has been
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I think that learning about you, learning about your drive, learning about your undying belief in yourself, I think that people need to hear that like 4 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you were a completely different person.
Yeah.
And you were dreaming about what's happening right now. And you basically gave your recipe of how to get here.
Yeah.
And I think people need to hear that.
It's all about the
Yeah.
mentality.
I
and
absolutely love it.
Is.
you had a lot of people out there. We all have these excuses that we tend to use. You had every excuse in the book to go
give
back to corporate America
Yes.
and to not be an entrepreneur and to not chase your dreams and to you didn't quit. And I think that'll give everybody strength. It certainly has given me that. Keep fighting.
Definitely.
I love it. All right, ladies and gents, I hope you like Jenny as much as we do, and I'm sure you're going to. And we thank you for signing on for another episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast. And we are
Out.
out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed that episode featuring Jenny Alvarez. Up next, we have an episode featuring Julian Nguyen. He is a multiple world's Muay Thai champion as well as a gym owner here in Worcester.
Yeah, Team Link Muay Thai in Worcester, dissecting someone's mindset who is a legitimate world champion. Kevin and I got in the ring for a little bit. Afterwards, there's so much more that goes into fighting than just physical. You're going to love this.
Hope you enjoy.